1 minute after 6, so we'll go ahead and call to order our regular session of April 2nd, 2019. And the first order of business this evening is the opening prayer and pledges of allegiance to the flag of the United States and state of Texas, and that will be led by Councilmember Gutierrez. If you'll join me in standing, please.
O Lord, our Heavenly Father, high and mighty, King of kings and Lord of lords, be thou present, O God of wisdom, and direct the counsel of this honorable assembly, to continue to bless this city and enable us to settle issues and concerns so that we may build a strong community foundation. Let the harmony and peace, truth and justice prevail and flourish among all that gather here today. Preserve the health of their bodies and the vigor of their minds, and shower us with your blessings. In your name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Mr. Gutierrez. All right, we have several presentations this evening, and there are 4 of them, so I'm going to come down to the podium and read each one and invite whoever may be here for each of these to join me after at the podium after that proclamation has been read. All right, the first one that we have this evening is a proclamation recognizing Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month. And it reads as follows. Whereas more than 41,120 cases of child abuse and neglect were confirmed in Texas during 2018, and whereas there were 237 confirmed victims of child abuse and neglect in Guadalupe County in 2018, and whereas child abuse prevention is a community responsibility and finding solutions depends on involvement among all people, and whereas everyone in the community should become more aware of child abuse prevention and consider helping parents raise their children in safe, nurturing environments, as well as supporting local professionals dedicated to meeting the needs of child abuse victims, including but not limited to schools, religious organizations, law enforcement, child protective services, prosecution, medical professionals, mental health professionals, children's advocacy centers, court-appointed special advocates, and other community-based nonprofit organizations. Now, therefore, be it resolved in official recognition, as Mayor of the City of Schertz, I, Michael Carpenter, hereby proclaim April 2019 as Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month in Schertz, Texas, and urge all citizens to work together to reduce child abuse and neglect and to significantly improve the response of our community when child abuse occurs in the months and years ahead. So we have some guests here for this proclamation this week.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Michelle Meehan. I'm the Assistant Director at the Guadalupe County Children's Advocacy Center. And every year in doing the proclamations and all of our April events, we really just truly appreciate all the support that we are shown throughout the community and throughout the, with the proclamations, and then also in assistance with our pinwheel displays, which we just completed today. So when you're driving around town, you will see 993 pinwheels at each of our sites, and each pinwheel represents a child that was provided a service at our center last year in 2018. And we experienced a 60% increase last year from the previous year. So we also have some events coming up. So this Friday, April 5th, is Go Blue Day, so wear blue for Child Abuse Prevention and Awareness Month. And we also have a 5K on Saturday in Seguin at Starkey Park. So all you runners or walkers or superhero fans, come on out in your gear. And we also have our open house on Sunday, April 7th. We have moved into a new building to provide more services to our kids to meet the increase. We have been able to increase our interview rooms and also our therapy services. And so come on out from 3 to 5, see our new building. And then we have a bowl-a-thon on April 26th, so that's another way to support our kiddos. So lots of ways that you all can get involved. And then our big one is Designer Purse Bingo on May 9th. So tickets will go on sale April 18th. All ways to show your support in helping our kids have a voice when something has happened if they've been hurt. So thank you very much.
Next up this evening, we have the National Crime Victims' Rights Week, April 7 to 13. And the proclamation reads as follows. Whereas Americans are victims of more than 20 million crimes each year, and these crimes also affect family members, friends, neighbors, and co-workers. And whereas intervening early with services that support and empower victims provides a pathway to recover from crime and abuse. And whereas honoring the rights of victims, including the right to be heard and to be treated with fairness, dignity, and respect, and working to meet their needs, rebuilds their trust in the criminal justice and social service systems. And whereas advocates are joining forces with victim service providers, criminal justice agencies, and concerned citizens throughout Guadalupe County and the United States to raise awareness of victims' rights and observe National Crime Victims' Rights Week. Now, therefore, be it resolved in official recognition, the City of Schertz hereby proclaims the week of April 7 to 13, 2019, as National Crime Victims' Rights Week in Schertz, Texas, and reaffirms the county's commitment to respect and enforce victims' rights and address victims' needs during National Crime Victims' Rights Week and throughout the year. And we express our appreciation for those victims and crime survivors who have turned personal tragedy into a motivating force to improve our response to victims of crime and build a more just community. So who do we have joining this evening for this event?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Nicole Douglas. I'm the Regional Crime Victim Liaison for the Schertz Police Department and Cibolo and Live Oak. Just wanted to thank Council and for your continued support in all of our efforts, and also recognizing the other agencies that are here. We have representatives from Child Protective Services, the Advocacy Center, and our Guadalupe Valley Family Violence Shelter, and as well as our law enforcement and first responders in EMS. So we all try to work together and collaborate for victims, and again, we just appreciate y'all's support.
Next up, we have the National Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month of April 2019. And it says, whereas every 2 minutes another person in the United States is sexually assaulted, and in Texas, 2 in 5 women and 1 in 5 men are victims of sexual assault. And in fiscal year 2018, the Guadalupe Valley Family Violence Shelter rendered 1,326 services to 82 survivors of sexual violence. Whereas according to a study conducted by the Texas Association Against Sexual Assault and the University of Texas at Austin School of Social Work, approximately 6.3 million Texans have been sexually victimized. Whereas most victims are sexually assaulted by someone they know, and only 10% of rapes are ever reported to the police. And whereas police, forensic workers, and prosecutors should be recognized and commended for their hard work and innovative strategies to increase the percentage of sexual assault cases that are led to prosecution. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Michael Carpenter, Mayor of the City of Schertz, do hereby proclaim April 2019 as Sexual Assault Awareness and Prevention Month in Schertz, Texas, and call upon all citizens to join me to do our part to stop domestic violence by advocating for victim rights and holding abusers accountable for their actions. Who's here this evening?
Hi, my name is Ashton Story. I am a victim service advocate for the Crisis Center in Seguin. Obviously, Guadalupe County is one of our biggest counties, and I just want to thank y'all. Thank you again so much for all of y'all's support. We really couldn't complete our mission without y'all's support, but thank you so much.
All right. And now we have one more, and it's the Month of the Military Child, 2019, and purple up for Military Kids Day. And it reads, whereas during the month of April 2019, the City of Schertz will observe Month of the Military Child, and on April 12, 2019, purple up for Military Kids Day, to honor military families and their children for the sacrifices they make and their unconditional support for our armed forces. And whereas more than 1.7 million children under the age of 18 have at least one parent serving in the armed forces, and in addition, an estimated 900,000 children have one or both parents deployed multiple times. And whereas the City of Schertz, along with the Texas Education Agency, are committed to ensuring military-connected students are supported in our schools and various programs, as our men and women in uniform focus on the challenges and missions they face in the line of duty. And whereas in the month of April, citizens can show their support for military children and appreciation for their strength and sacrifices by wearing purple, which represents the blending of the colors of the 5 branches of the armed forces. Now, therefore, I, Michael Carpenter, Mayor of the City of Schertz, call upon all citizens of Schertz and upon all patriotic, civic, and educational organizations to observe the month of April 2019 to be the month of the military child, and the week of April 12, 2019 as Purple Up for Military Kids Day. Who do we have joining us this evening for this one? All right. So this one hits home. My next-door neighbor has been deployed now for about 6 months, and not his first deployment. My neighbor across the street, who now is in Kansas, was deployed for 8 months before he was reassigned. I've got 2 retired chiefs on my street, in addition to these other folks, and 2 lieutenant colonels that live directly across the street from me that serve in the United States Army in the intelligence service. And I tell you, we've had lots of times on our little cul-de-sac where neighbors are missing because they're out serving, whether it's at another base, a short-term assignment, or whether it's in another country or halfway across the globe. This is a real thing, and it affects a lot of people. My brother is going to retire this year after 21 years in the United States Air Force as a Chief Master Sergeant. He spent 2 times in Afghanistan and 5 years in Europe, where every time there was an A-10 that went down, it was his job to go get it. So this one's close to my heart, and hope that everybody will join us in supporting the children of our military families. Anybody that's here that would like to say anything, please.
Hi, my name is Valerie Merrill. I am a military student transition consultant
for Samuel Clemens High School, and I actually work for the Military Child Education Coalition as well. My husband is actually deployed right now, so this really hits home for me. With me, I have some of my students, Christina Morris from Samuel Clemens. They just moved here, so I helped her transition into Samuel Clemens. And the Drawn family, and actually she's a new employee for Schertz as well. And so it really is important for us to support our military-connected youth. They have to move so much, and it's really hard on them. So, okay. Angela, would you like to speak? She's also with our parent-to-parent program.
Hi there, my name is Angela Gomez, and I too work for the Military Child Education Coalition. And this is near and dear to my heart because I'm a military spouse, and we're raising 4 kids in this lifestyle, 2 of which I have right here with me. And I'm just grateful. I'm from the Schertz community. We live here, and we hope to retire here someday. And we're grateful for the support and the acknowledgement because it's a challenging lifestyle. It can be, for sure. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Angela Green. I'm the school liaison officer for Joint Base Randolph, and on behalf of General Linderman and our JBSA San Antonio family, we want to thank the the city of Schertz for recognizing us this month. Thank you so much.
All right. The next item that we have on the agenda this evening are some new employee recognitions. And I guess we'll start with the order we have on the agenda, first with the police. And is Chief here, or who's leading us this evening? All right. I was about to say, it's a good bit of the force is here. All right, gentlemen. Show is yours.
Evening, everybody. I have the
Evening.
distinct pleasure of introducing our newest code enforcement officer, Mark Yamazi. He started back on March 4th. He's born in Chicago, Illinois, and from what he tells me, got to Texas as quickly as he could. He's a graduate from MacArthur High School, and the Brahma is the mascot. He's married 28 years, has a son and a daughter, and he likes spending time with family and cookouts on the weekends, and he comes to us after 30 years of employment with Sam's Club.
Fantastic. Well, first of all, welcome. Glad to have you with us. And so these instructions are for everyone. Anyone that's being introduced, if you'd like to say something at the microphone, you may. And if you prefer not, you don't have to. But if you like, please.
I've just met a lot of great people here in the city of Schertz, and I'm looking forward to working with many more great people. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Very excited to have you on the team. Hope you have a long career here with us. Very good. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members, Dr. Brown. First, Melissa. She's over here. She trades eyes on me.
That is on the video now.
Ms. Fleck is the newest member of our records unit. She's our new records clerk. She was born in Georgia, an Army child, and she was raised in Colorado. She's an Army veteran of 8 years and has been married for 16 years to her husband, who's still on active duty and is currently deployed right now. Right? UI right now. Yes, ma'am. She has 2 children, one in intermediate school, one in high school, and her family moved to Schertz in 2018 from Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. In her free time, she likes to be outdoors, fishing, hiking, gardening, kayaking, and visiting all the state national parks.
Very good. Well, first of all, welcome. Glad to have you with us. Please.
I just wanted to say thank you for your time. We're loving Texas, and we're retiring here. My husband will be retiring in less than 3 years. We're excited.
Fantastic. Welcome. Glad to have you on the team with us. Good stuff.
These next two gentlemen, it's my privilege. It's the first time ever we've done an introduction for police cadets for a new program, and these gentlemen are our two new cadets. First, I'll start with Mike here. Mike was born in Riverside, California. He's the son of Michael Barlow, who's also a Los Angeles County Sheriff's detective. Mike served 7 years in the U.S. Army, 5 years on active duty, and 2 years in the National Guard. He has two daughters, Haley and Kirsten, who are 16 and 13. He's a lover of travel and sports, plays softball and indoor volleyball. Mike is currently in Phase 4 of the Law Enforcement Academy and is set to graduate on April 24th. Correct? Yes, sir.
Very good. Well, welcome, sir. Glad to have you with us.
Anything to say?
You're going to pass? That's all right. That's quite all right. Okay. All right, next up.
The next young man is Scott Carlson. Mr. Carlson's local. His family moved here when he was in the 4th grade. His father, who's in attendance, retiring in the military in our city. He's been here for a long time and was a student at Samuel Clemens High School. He began taking criminal justice courses in Mrs. Davidson's, one of our former officers who teaches there, in her class. And from there, he says that's what had the biggest impact on him to make his law enforcement career and ultimately stay within our city, which is fantastic. He was elected the president of the Criminal Justice Club and spent his time mentoring like-minded youth. He also served as the chief of the Schertz Police Department Explorers Post later that year. The next fall, he attended the University of Texas in San Antonio to start on his bachelor's in criminal justice, and he graduated with honors 1 year early. He's also completed 150 hours of internship with our department already and is currently at ACOG. Correct? All right. And that's Mr. Carlson.
Welcome. All right.
Scott, do you have anything?
Chuck, you going to pass as well? All right, gentlemen, welcome. Glad to have you with us.
Good evening, everybody. I have three for our Animal Services Department. First is Nicole. Nicole is our new Animal Control Officer. She started March 7th of this year. She's local. Most of you probably know her parents, the Hooks. I'm drawing a blank. Jim Hooks from Public Works. Anyway, she graduated from Texas A&M University in Kingsville with a bachelor's degree in range and wildlife management. Prior to coming to us, she worked Texas internships involving deer, alligators, and quail. And then she worked at Randolph Air Force Base doing wildlife mitigation and helping with bird strikes on base before coming to us. She recently, wrong person. She loves hiking, playing with her 6-year-old blue heeler Maxie, which is your dog. Yes. Yeah. And she has a brother who is a police officer and a sister who works for Child Protective Services. Services in the family.
Very nice. All right, well, welcome. Glad to have you with us. And please.
Yeah, it's nice to meet all you guys. I really appreciate y'all just introducing all the new members. It's like a sense of camaraderie. So thanks for introducing all the new Sheriff members. I really love my job, so I hope to stay with y'all for a while. So
welcome.
Nice meeting y'all.
Welcome to the team. Hope you stay a long time as well. Good deal.
Next we have Noel. I'm going to say this right. Maserati. Kind of like the car. Noel is a new kennel technician for the city of Schertz. They provide care for the animals in the shelter as well as service to people coming in looking to adopt an animal. She was born and raised in San Antonio, Texas, attended Texas State University, and she actually has 2 bachelor's degrees, one in biology and one in forensic anthropology. She recently did some work with Operation Identification, which identifies and repatriates human remains found at the Texas-Mexico border. She also recently adopted a 3-legged kitten named Mushu from the shelter, so she's taking her work home with her, and it joins 2 other cats at home. In her free time, she enjoys reading, following different archaeology blogs, and she's actually begun teaching herself German.
Wow. All right, well, welcome. Going to pass. Okay.
And lastly, we
Das
have
ist gut.
another kennel technician doing the same job as Noelle. Her name is Ashley Drawn. She was up here a minute ago with her husband, who is an active duty captain in the Air Force. She has been around Texas. She was born in Temple, raised in Belton, and attended high school in Carrollton. She joined the Air Force Reserve in 2000, served there for 8 years. During that time, she attended the University of Phoenix online. She has a bachelor's degree in human services management. She's married to an active Air Force captain for 16 years. They have 2 children. They have a daughter at Clemens and a son at Dobie. They've been to 7 different duty stations with her husband, and she has been to 10 total during her time in the Air Force. She says her passion is animals and their well-being. She loves to run and work out, and she loves gardening and reading. She's currently an apprentice learning to teach or train PTSD dogs for veterans, which is something she wants to do long-term, pairing dogs with veterans and saving both of them.
Very good. Well, welcome.
I look forward to working with every single one of y'all while I'm here. I don't know how long that will be. Either we'll retire because we're close to retirement, or we'll move on, and this experience is going to help me move on with y'all. And I look forward to every single one of y'all being here. So thank y'all so much for this opportunity. I'm grateful for it. Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Welcome to the team. Glad to have all 3 of you with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, next up is our EMS team.
Mayor, Council, Dr. Brown, how are you
Evening.
doing tonight? Tonight I have 6 new employees to introduce to you. I'm going to start off with Matt Short. He's a part-time paramedic. He started with the city on March 4th, lives in San Antonio. He comes to us from Bryan, Texas. Went to TEACS and obtained his EMT certification. Followed that with an attendance at Blinn College to obtain his paramedic certification. He pursued his bachelor's degree at A&M, obtained his master's through Texas Tech. He currently works at UT. I'm not sure how all this blends. But he has been serving as a paramedic for 23 years, is currently married with 3 kids. So.
Very good. Welcome.
I guess it's going to pass on the mic. Next up, we have our new administrative assistant, Erica Abellis. She started with the city back in February. She grew up outside of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Currently resides here in Schertz. She attended the University of Maryland University College. Obtained her bachelor's degree in human resource management. She is currently continuing her education at that same school to pursue her master's in business administration. She's slated to graduate this May, so congratulations to her. She has no EMS background before coming to Schertz. She's married and likes to spend her free time on various household and outdoor projects.
Very good. Welcome.
Hi, everyone.
Please.
I just want to say I've been here just shy of 2 years. We're loving living in Schertz, and I'm very happy for the opportunity to work with you guys. Thank you.
Welcome. Very happy to have you on the team. Great.
Next up is Christopher Winky. He's a full-time paramedic with us. He started with the city on March 4th. He's from Libertyville, Illinois, spent 10 years in the Chicago area. He moved to Austin with his wife, Christine, in November. He has a bachelor's degree in music business from Columbia College, attended paramedic school at Malcolm X College, both of which are in Chicago. He started EMS about 2 years ago after working in real estate. He enjoys writing music, investing in real estate, and spending time outdoors. So welcome, Chris.
Absolutely. Welcome.
I just want to say I'm really glad to be here. I'm grateful for the opportunity to serve the city of Schertz. So thank you all very much.
Welcome. Happy to have you with us. Good stuff.
Next up, full-time paramedic Amy Anderson. She started with the city also on March 4th. Grew up in Kettle Falls, Washington, currently resides in Austin as well. She attended Austin Community College, obtained her paramedic certification. She's worked the last 7 years in an emergency room in the Austin area. This is her first EMS job on an ambulance, so it's a rude awakening for her, so to speak. She enjoys playing musical instruments, currently plays 3 and is now learning a 4th. So welcome, Amy.
I just want to say thank you for allowing me to work for the city of Schertz. I'm enjoying it so far, contrary to but Brandon, the fear he's stricken in me, and I look forward to it. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Glad to have you with us.
Next up is another full-time paramedic, Adam Rohach. He started with the city March 4th as well. Grew up in the Garden Ridge area, so he's a local. Lives with his wife and 5-week-old daughter here in Schertz. He went to paramedic school in College Station at Teeks and has now been in EMS for about 6 years. So welcome, Adam.
Going to pass on the microphone? Okay, no problem.
And last up for us tonight, part-time paramedic Toby Green. He grew up in the San Antonio area. First took his EMT course in 1995 with a well-known EMS instructor that some of you might know, Bobby Dilworth. After graduating, he joined the United States Army, served a full 20 years before retiring in 2017, so we thank him for that service. Toby started on November 26th here with Schertz, is currently in the training program with the EMS department. He's been married to his wife Olivia for 22 years, has 4 sons. So welcome, Toby.
Welcome. Glad to have you with us.
I wasn't going to say anything, but no, it really has come full circle, and I'm glad to have the opportunity and be back here in the city of Schertz. Thank you.
Thrilled to have you with us. Good stuff. Appreciate it, gentlemen. Very good. All right, next up, Public Works.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Dr. Brown. I'd like to introduce Chris Griffey. He is our newest member to Public Works Drainage Division. Chris was born, or actually Chris started with us in February of this year. He was born in the city of New Braunfels. He then moved to Schertz, our Universal City, at an early age. In 2010, he lives in Schertz and resides here still. Chris went to Schertz Elementary, and then from there attended Dobie Middle School and graduated from right next door Samuel Clemens High School. Likes to work on cars. He's into martial arts. He's working on his blue belt right now. I don't mess with him too much. He likes to tinker with computers and actually has built several on his own. So, Chris.
All right, welcome. Glad to have you. Thank you. Fantastic. Glad to have you with us and on the team. Welcome again. All right, that's all of the new employees that we have today. Next up, we have city events and announcements, and we'll start with city events, and Mrs. Gonzalez has the duty.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Mayor. So tomorrow, Wednesday, April 3rd, is going to be the services for the former city manager, Mark Marquez. The viewing is going to be at 11:30 a.m. and followed by the services at 12:30, and that's at Schertz Funeral Home. On Friday, April 5th, we're going to have the City Council pre-budget retreat at 8:30 a.m., and it's going to be located over in the administration building at the Schertz Cibolo Universal City ISD boardroom, and that's at 1030 Elbell Road in Schertz. On Sunday, April 7th, is our Moving On Main event from noon to 4 p.m. on Schertz Main Street. And then we'll be back here next Tuesday, April 9th, for the next regularly scheduled City Council meeting at 6 p.m. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you, ma'am. Next up, announcements and recognitions by the city manager. Mr. Brown?
Thank
Dr.
you.
Brown.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a couple tonight. First of all, from our EMS staff, I want to give kudos to our staff, especially the training coordinators, Bud Hirschberg and David Rotano. We had recently had registration for our 37th EMT class, and that was actually the first class we took registration from our website. So this is a new development for us to take online registrations for our EMT classes. We opened registration at 7:45, and by 8:05 the class was full. So 20 minutes, and we had 30 students. So we have the highest EMT National Registry pass rate in the region at 90%. And since the inception of our courses, we have had 566 graduate. Also, would like to give a shout out to IT and Public Affairs for helping us with the website. They couldn't have done it without their assistance. So kudos to EMS and Jason. And I also have one other announcement, and that is concerning our colleague and friend Linda Babineau, who passed away this week. Linda, as part of our 311 team, who makes up the voice of the city, will be deeply missed by many. She was a member of the Schertz family for almost 20 years and started her journey back in October of 2000 as a utility collection clerk. Throughout her career with the city, she worked in several different positions, including deputy court clerk, meter technician, receptionist, and finally as customer relations representative. She loved the city of Schertz very much and had a very special place in her heart for our four-legged friends. You could often find Linda volunteering, sponsoring, or donating to help provide for the pets in need at our animal shelter. This is truly a great loss to our organization and to our community as a whole. Linda will be profoundly missed by everyone whose lives she touched. Nevertheless, let us remember Linda as the bright and cheerful and smiling face that welcomed everyone to become part of our Schertz family. And we just wanted to recognize her this evening.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Yeah, we lost two of our own this past week, both Linda and Mark. And I would ask that as the days pass, that we keep their families in our prayers. Next up, we have a hearing of residents. I have no one signed up this evening, so I'm going to go directly to the consent agenda items. Item number 1, the minutes, consideration or action regarding the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of March 26, 2019. Item number 2, Resolution 19R33, a resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, authorizing MS debt revenue adjustments, utility billing debt revenue adjustments, and Schertz Magazine debt revenue adjustments for certain inactive outstanding receivables and other matters in connection therewith. Item number 3, Resolution 19R44, a resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, accepting the appraised value offer of the Texas Department of Transportation, or TxDOT, to acquire a parcel of land needed for the FM 1518 expansion project and other matters in connection therewith. And item number 4, Resolution 19R45, a resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, authorizing expenditures with Metro Fire totaling no more than $72,000 for firefighting supplies and equipment during the 2018-2019 fiscal year and other matters in connection therewith. Are there any of these that need to be pulled for individual consideration? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the items as presented on consent?
So moved.
Second. I have a motion from Mr. Gutierrez, a second from Mr. Edwards. Any other comments or questions from council? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote.
Aye.
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 Aye. Aye. 7 ayes, no nays. The motion carries. Next item we have on the agenda this evening is a discussion item, Resolution 19R46, a resolution by the City Council of the City of Schertz, Texas, authorizing a program and expenditures as provided for in the Phase 2 Economic Development Performance Agreement between the City of Schertz Economic Development Corporation, the SEDC, and Schertz 312 LLC, the company, and other matters in connection therewith. Evening, Mr. Kenner-Tatter. How are you, sir?
Good.
Good.
Good evening, Mayor and Council, Dr. Brown. Tonight's item was reviewed by the EDC Board at the last meeting on Thursday evening. They approved a resolution authorizing the agreement subject to the City Council's approval of the program and authorization of expenditure of funds. And so that is why we're here tonight. I wanted to give a little bit of background on the agreement that was presented. This agreement that was presented really is a Phase 2 portion of the agreement, and so I'll remind everybody what Phase 1 of the agreement was with. Phase 1, Schertz 312 LLC, the developer behind which is Titan Development. We have Emiliano Guerrero, who's here with us from Titan Development. They purchased 171 acres, of which the EDC partnered to provide infrastructure improvements that are needed for a future million-square-foot user. In connection with that agreement, the Economic Development Corporation agreed to reimburse up to $4 million for the road, water line, and wastewater line, which are shown in the graphic above. Phase 2 of the project is another roughly 141 acres that is currently within the San Antonio ETJ property. This property, in order to develop, requires a road that would connect from the end of the road that is currently proposed with Phase 1, and it would connect into Benny Keith Way in the city of Selma. The proposal of Phase 2 is conditional upon the city of Schertz being able to annex the 141 acres into the city of Schertz. And so all of this is preparatory to that happening. We currently are working with San Antonio trying to make a deal to transfer that into our ETJ. So under the Phase 2 agreement that was presented to you today, The Economic Development Corporation would provide up to $2.5 million for infrastructure improvements. Specifically, it calls out two different improvements that would be associated with this project. There's the roadway that was discussed that would connect the future road into the city of Selma. And then in addition, there's also $250,000 that would be allocated towards the rail crossing that is right there at the Selma city boundary line to the south. And so it would pay for half of those improvements, up to $250,000 for a total of $2.5 million for this project. In consideration, so two things have to happen. One, the property would have to come into the city of Schertz city limits. And then in addition to this, there would have to be a $9 million capital investment on the property. And what that equates to is another future building as what has been built in the current Titan development. The Economic Development Board feels that this is an infrastructure improvement that is required and necessary to promote economic development in this area. And it very much is related to the Phase 1 deal that we entered into about a year ago. And with that, we've provided, so the action today would be to approve the resolution which authorizes the program and expenditure of funds outlined in the agreement. With that, are there any questions?
Council, questions for Mr. Kennedy? Mr. Edwards?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve resolution number 19R46.
Second. I have a motion from Mr. Edwards. I have a second from Mr. Davis. Any other comments or questions from council? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. Aye.
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 Aye. 7 ayes and no nays. The motion carries. Before we go to the roll call vote confirmation, in honor of our employee and former employee who we lost this past week, and ask everyone on the dais and in the chambers to join me in standing for just a moment, and we'll end our observance with 3 fells of the gavel. Thank you. Next up, we have our roll call vote confirmation.
Yes, consent agenda items number 1 through 4. Motion was made by Councilmember Gutierrez, seconded by Councilmember Edwards. Mayor Pro Tem Hayward, Councilmembers Davis, Gutierrez, Larson, Edwards, Scagliola, Brown voted yes. No one voted no. Motion passed. Item number 5, resolution number 19R46. Motion was made by Councilmember Edwards, seconded by Councilmember Davis. Mayor Pro Tem Hayward, Councilmembers Davis, Gutierrez, Larson, Edwards, Scagliola, Brown voted yes. No one voted no. Motion passed.
Thank you, ma'am. We do at this time have need of a closed session, and City Council will meet in closed session under Section 551.087 of the Texas Government Code. Deliberation regarding economic development negotiations, closed meeting. The governmental body is not required to conduct an open meeting. 1, to discuss and deliberate regarding commercial or financial information the governmental body has received from a business prospect. The governmental body seeks to have locate, stay, or expand in or near the territory of the governmental body and with which the governmental body is conducting economic development negotiations. Or 2, deliberate the offer of a financial or other incentive to a business prospect. Projects E-052 and E-053 will be discussed. We will recess our open session at this time, go into closed session, and return as soon as we're able. After 7, we'll go back into open session at this time. Next items that we have on the agenda this evening, we have item 7A, take any action based on discussions held in closed session. Under agenda item 7, we have none this evening, so we'll go to instead the requests and announcements. Any further announcements from the city manager, sir? All right. A request from the mayor and council members that items be placed on a future city council agenda. Anything that we do not currently have that we need to add? I don't see any takers at this time, so we'll move to announcements by the mayor and council members, and we'll start with Mayor Pro Tem Hayward.
Last week,
Wednesday and Thursday, I attended a Water Now Summit up in Austin. Originally, I thought it was just going to be for the Texas area, but it ended up being a nationwide event. People from all over came, understanding some of the concepts of water. And some areas were having issues with drinking water. So they were finding ways to convert surface water, storm water, and wastewater to drinkable water. And they had a company there that had beer made from wastewater. It was pretty interesting. I learned some things, and it was a cool event just to go for the 2 days and see where water, all about water. That's all I have.
Very good. Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Davis.
Nothing, sir.
Mr. Gutierrez.
I too went on the 2-day session for the Water Now Alliance. Learned quite a bit about sustainability and the recharge from stormwater and also wastewater. I also tasted the Near Rear beer from waste to taste, but it was quite interesting. And we also had the Schlotsky's Austin Eatery re-grand opening just the other day. That's all.
Very good. Mr. Larson? Mr. Edwards?
Yes, sir. I had coffee every day since last Tuesday.
Dr. Scagliola?
Yeah, I just went over to the Schlotsky's Austin Eatery. I thought it was interesting. They've been doing business on that little corner now for over 20 years. It's incredible. That's all I have, sir.
Very good. Mr. Brown?
The Schlotsky's mini tacos are really popular.
Very good. I just have one question, Mr. Edwards. Did you put that on Facebook?
Absolutely not.
If there's nothing else from staff or from council, then we stand adjourned.